It didn't work before, but we're gonna try it again. The Medallion Home 2.0. What is it? What would life look like without natural gas in your house? And are you ready for it? Will the next home you live in be completely electric? All right, this is Ryan with Real Estate Daily. Today is the Saturday opinion piece, and really more than anything, I want your opinion on this because this is a hot topic. It's coming down the pipe in a lot of jurisdictions, a lot of municipalities, and it is about houses not having gas, being all electric. We've done it before, and so let's take a look at it. But before we jump into it, please subscribe below and turn your notifications on so you get notified when we go live. Us here at the House Heroes, we like to bring you Real Estate Daily, Monday through Friday, everything that's happening in the trenches of real estate as it pertains to real estate itself and mortgages. And on Saturdays, we like to bring you a little opinion piece. But again, more than anything, I want to hear your opinion. So please comment after you've watched this video or during it if you can't even get that far through before you want to send us your comment on this. But this is what it is. Maybe you've seen this medallion at a house. I'll normally point them out to my clients when I see them. It's normally 60s homes. It was kind of like late 50s through early 70s, and you'd see this medallion. Normally the doorbell was this weird plastic doorbell with a little medallion on top. I've seen this in concrete at the kind of the doorstep is you're rolling in and there's no doormat on, you'll see the medallion. And basically what it was in the 50s, 60s, they tried to take these mid-century homes and make them all electric. It was supposed to be clean and much more efficient. And it really got phased out. So they had this innovative energy system. A lot of it was marketing from companies like General Electric, DuPont. They were trying to sell all of their new goods. And one of the ways they went about it was saying, hey, let's try and sell the population on something they maybe didn't necessarily need. Back then, you got to remember, we had all kinds of new nuclear projects coming online. So we had this newer, clean, renewable energy everybody was happy about with nuclear. And this was really the way to bring it to the population. I remember as a child in the mid 70s, early 80s, that our natural gas in our house cost a lot more than the electricity. Like, we had an electric stove, but we did have a gas heater on our spa, and we weren't allowed to use it. Like, it was like only for certain instances. I'm like, why do we have a gas powered heater for our pool if it was too expensive to use? But as I got older, all those costs flipped, and gas has been very, very inexpensive recently. And so we'll run the heater a lot. My kids' birthdays are in April, right? So normally if they want to have a pool party or something, we can heat the pool. It's only, 20, 30 bucks. It's definitely efficient because the way our production's gone, and natural gas is normally a byproduct of other oil production and stuff like that. So it's been very cheap. We have an abundance of it here, but that's actually been starting to change a little bit. We're starting to see, natural gas prices go up, and we're obviously trying to see a big push towards electric. So back to the 60s, 70s, you had these decals, you had these medallion homes, but they got phased out, right? And really the biggest reason was, it just wasn't cost efficient for a lot of these homes. So, right here it says an all electric home may not burn coal on site, but because mostly electricity in the United States is produced by burning coal, a gold medallion house is essentially all coal powered. So, in certain areas like here in Southern California, it truly was probably fairly clean. A lot of that energy was coming from nuclear at the time. I know we had San Onofre here locally that was producing up until, a decade or so ago. But it failed, right? I mean, this absolutely failed. We don't see these homes anymore, but it's back. We've got cities trying to cut natural gas from new homes. The GOP and gas lobby preemptively quashed their effort for now in a lot of states, but in California, we are seeing a lot of it. So obviously this is gonna be mainly in blue controlled areas. So in 2019, it started for the most part in Berkeley. They held a vote to ban natural gas hookups in all new building construction. And the goal is to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and the city's impact on climate crisis. Since then, you've got San Francisco, who has then passed it in 2020. So for those of you out here who are chefs and cooks, and you've got to have that gas because you can just get that to the right simmer. Hey, I feel your pain. In a lot of these areas, you might having to go to some of that inductive heat or whatever it is in the electric again. But here we are. So we've seen some of these cities, San Francisco, New York, they've banned it. They're trying to phase it out. They've got stuff that's open for vote. So in New York, they're vowing to pass a statewide law that would ban natural gas by 2027. But as you can see, more of the red states have come through, and they have actually done statewide bans all the way through. I thought they had the map on here, but it was a lot of the Midwest. Let's see, it might actually be over here on this one. Oh, that's weird. Neither of them have it anymore. But so they have actually gone through and blocked it. So some of the states like Utah, I seem to remember it was like Utah, Arizona, they've gone through and they have actually banned it. So like here's Arizona in 2020, they statewide at the legislature banned natural gas being outlawed, right? So it's like a double negative right there. But so they preemptively said that the city and local municipalities cannot ban natural gas. Here in California, it's completely different though. So California as a whole is trying to move to ban natural gas furnaces and heaters, well, that's water heaters, come 2030. So this is what we're looking at. You got the California Air Resources Board on Thursday pushing this proposal. It's going to be reviewed. It's going to be obviously, going to vote. They're trying to draft this rule to phase everything up by 2030, but it won't really be to vote from 2025. And we've seen a lot of headlines from this where they're like, oh, California's got all this renewable energy. Now we can go 100%. We've now hit it to where we have 100% of all the production in the state was from renewable energy. But when you click past that headline, that was for 1 hour in April when we had water flowing through our streams and our dams, right? And our hydroelectric was on point. And we had solar because it's April and the sun was out. And we also had wind because it was April and we had pretty good wind rolling through. So for 1 hour, but this doesn't take into account at night. Doesn't take into account things that happen in Texas, for example, when you have the freeze. For me, I'd rather have redundancy. I don't want to be 100% committed to electric. I'd like to have natural gas. It's perfect for us right now. So for me, I want to know what your thoughts are. Would you rather be all electric and have potential issues like Texas did when they had the freeze and they had no heat? Or would you rather try and go down this clean path? And as we talk about that clean path, let's talk about how clean that clean path really is. Right now, we're going to go off this 2020, about 59% of electricity was claimed to be clean and renewables. So you had renewables, which were solar and wind and hydroelectric. So that's solar and wind. You had large hydro, which was 13.9%, and you had nuclear at 10.6%. I thought it was interesting. We actually had an uptick in nuclear from 2013 to 2020. They're trying to get 100% electric by 2045. So that's zero carbon sources. They're trying to shoot for 100% by 2045, and it's going to be very interesting to see if we can get there. Right now, as you know, in California, they've said that they want all cars to be all electric, and we don't even have enough electric production now to meet all cars produced and driven, in California to be all electric. So how are we now then on top of it, trying to push all new car sales in California to be all electric, to then also say all new home construction is going to be all electric? I just don't see it happening, especially when we're not even there yet. So that leads me to believe, well, how much of our electric then is natural gas? Because that is the largest actual percentage of what we're producing right now. So these numbers here from 2018, natural gas accounted for 46.54% of all of the California's in-state generation. So we still are predominantly, that is our number one source of electricity is natural gas. So all we're doing is saying, wait, we're not going to let you burn natural gas at your house. We're going to burn it for you over here and then transfer that electricity to you, right? Well, is it any more clean? I got to think there's some sort of loss. from the gas powered plant going across all those transmission lines to your house. Let's dig into that. And when you see, actually, we also get some of our natural gas power production from other states as well. So this is a pretty good rundown of coal, large hydro, natural gas, nuclear, oil, other petroleum. As you can see, obviously California is very low on coal or oil, but again, natural gas, which is a carbon emission, avenue, and that's what they're trying to get rid of. It is our number one percentage of how we get our electricity here. So it just leads me to naturally see, like, okay, then it must be more efficient, but you look down here and it's not. So the efficiency, is actually 35%. So of that coal, or that, let's call it natural gas in this case, natural gas, they're getting about 35% of that energy out of it and convert it into electricity. From there, we have, and this blows my mind, an overall loss between the power plant and consumers in the range of 8 and 15% right here. So you're losing 8 to 15%. Why don't you just have that pressurized gas come to your house? And if there's a freeze, if there's a power line knocked out, if there's some other disaster, if there's, like we're seeing rolling blackouts, you can still have heat, you can still have hot water, you can still have these things. For me personally, I'd rather have the redundancy and let the free markets decide. Hey, if it's too expensive for me to heat the pool for my kids because natural gas is expensive, I'm not going to use it. If we've got this great electrical network in California because they've got all these renewals and we're all on solar and we've got good nuclear and we've got this good mix, right? And it's very cheap to run on electric, then I'm going to switch out that gas stove and I'm going to go electric again, right? I'd say, hey, I'd rather have the free market decide where we go. In the meantime, yeah, keep trying to get better and cheaper and more renewable sources. I have solar on my house. I absolutely love it. I'm basically at 100% production for the year, and that even includes my Tesla that I drive around in. So for me, it made sense. It was a dollars and cents decision for me. I wasn't trying to go out there and be green. Hey, I'd like to be green, but I'm not even going to get down the avenue of whether or not a Tesla is really considered to be a green vehicle with its lithium batteries and all this stuff. But for me, it made sense, dollars and cents. And that's why I think that we should be running that same methodology when it comes to housing. I'd prefer to have natural gas in my house. Now, obviously, they're not going to go and be taking that stuff out anytime soon. They're talking about new home construction. But I want to know, if you've got a choice between a house that has gas and electric and only electric, what would be your take? So please comment below. And again, if you're joining kind of late here, please go down and subscribe and turn your notifications on so you do get notified when we go live. But that's it, your take on Medallion Homes 2.0. And feel free to comment if you live in San Francisco at all. I got that question I'd like to ask people as well. So anyways, thanks again for joining us, and peace.